The key to producing more happiness and success in your life is to guide, shape, and drive your life with a positive approach. By positive approach, I mean an approach that has these three components: positive attitude, positive thinking, and positive behavior. Your happiness and success depend on your understanding and application of these three components. The purpose of this video is to give you a full explanation of what they are and to show you how to best put them to use. Component number one, positive attitude. It's the first building block of a positive approach. Just about everyone has heard of the notion of a positive attitude. It's a valuable concept, but I think loads of people misunderstand, misuse, or ignore it. Let's clarify the meaning of a positive attitude. The idea of a positive attitude does not mean looking at the world through rose-colored glasses. It's not an everything is always peachy approach. You and I both know that it can be very difficult to be chipper after a significant setback. Secondly, for the purposes of this video, we won't spend a lot of time talking about your attitude when things are going great. It's very easy to have a positive frame of mind when everything's going your way. But on the other hand, when things are not going well, when problems confront you, when setbacks stack up, that's when the challenge arises. That's when a positive attitude matters most. By positive attitude, I mean an attitude that is seasoned by the expectation that good solutions to tough problems will be found. People with positive attitudes see themselves as responsible for outcomes, and they aim each issue, problem, or challenge towards as successful a result as possible. A positive attitude embraces the following two ideas. Number one, no matter how negative, difficult, upsetting, or painful an experience, something good can come from it. A positive attitude acknowledges the negatives in a situation, but always tunes its antenna to the positives as well, and is confident that good outcomes are possible even in the face of daunting circumstances. And idea number two, no matter how many solutions you've tried or how stumped you are, there's always something more you can do. You may have to dig deeper, get creative, or get some help, but more possibilities always exist. In addition, a positive attitude confronts problems knowing that they present valuable opportunities to learn, improve, and make positive changes. And, when we need it the most, a positive attitude reminds us that negative attitudes never produce positive outcomes. A positive attitude is important for four reasons. Number one, it determines what gets your attention. Your attitude is almost always self-fulfilling. If you start off expecting bad things to happen, they almost always do. If you begin your day in a negative frame of mind, you'll tend to notice all the bad things that happen and overlook many of the good things that occur. Makes it tough to have a good day. But if, on the other hand, you set out with a positive frame of mind, it's much more likely that the positive occurrences will catch your attention and you'll overlook or take in stride many of the negatives that occur. Number two, a positive attitude produces a steady approach. A negative attitude tends to create a pinball mentality. Every little setback can send you careening mentally, emotionally, and physically. We're much too excitable and reactive when we're in that sour frame of mind, and that never leads to anything good. A positive attitude tends to be more stable and calming. It's much easier to approach, consider, and resolve a tough situation with the steady bearing that a positive attitude gives. The third reason that a positive attitude is important is that it generates creative sparks. It's tough to come up with good solutions when you're in a negative frame of mind. You're so preoccupied with the problem and all of its nasty sharp edges that it can be impossible to get your radar aimed at the good possibilities. A positive frame of mind looks for ideas and is very ready to accept useful input. It is much more capable of assessing the possibilities and making the decisions that good solutions require. And finally, positive attitudes are energizing. Negative attitudes are exhausting and frustrating. They make it very difficult to muster the will to solve a tough problem. A positive attitude encourages both the effort and the determination that will lead to good outcomes. So when you're confronted by difficult issues and your attitude doesn't naturally zero in on the positive, what can you do? First, remember that attitude is a choice. Many people have the misperception that a positive attitude is a result of positive outcomes. Good stuff happens, so you feel more positive. It's true that good outcomes make us feel better, but it's much more productive to recognize that a positive attitude is a willful choice, and it is that choice that helps produce the positive outcomes. No matter what you're facing, you always have the ability to deal with it in a positive way. Though it can be very difficult at times, when the going gets especially tough, a positive attitude is especially important. Step 2. From time to time, review the section earlier in this video that describes a positive attitude. Keep watching it until it becomes a natural part of your thinking. Step 3. Start each day with a positive attitude engaged. Look for good things to happen. Be ready to apply your positive attitude when trouble hits. Step 4, try to catch yourself each time you feel your attitude slipping towards the negative. The earlier you catch yourself, the less time and effort you'll waste, and the sooner you'll be on the path to a positive outcome. Step 5, always be on the lookout for potential problems and issues. Identify them early, then try to mitigate them by applying your positive attitude. Step 6, keep practicing the "something good can come of it" mantra. Each time you feel a challenge to your positive attitude, repeat the phrase, commit to it, and keep moving forward. It can be a challenge, but each success brings you closer to making it a useful habit. Step 7, take note of the issues that most challenge your positive attitude and then adjust your approach to these issues. Keep chipping away at them until a positive attitude becomes natural for you. Keep your attitude positive. It's in your own best interest. If you feel your attitude slipping towards the negative, remind yourself that your attitude is the most powerful tool you have to help you generate positive outcomes. And always remember this: the attitude you choose determines the reality you experience. That's right, the attitude you choose determines the reality you experience. Component number 2, positive thinking. The word that best describes positive thinking is constructive. Constructive means intelligent, informed, goal-oriented, and focused on positive outcomes. It combines what you know and what you can learn about a situation to produce effective outcomes. It is thinking that is guided by principles and important values, not by emotions, whims, or biases. Specifically, it is the process of carefully identifying objectives that will solve the problem, resolve the issue, or generate positive outcomes. These objectives must be specific and realistic. Use your positive attitude to point your thinking in the best direction, then go to work shaping a solution. Put your problem-solving skills and creativity to work. Begin by asking yourself one very important basic question: what am I really trying to accomplish? Define the issue thoroughly. What's going on? Why is it a problem? What's the impact? What big picture issues should you be paying attention to? Once you've answered these questions, paint a clear picture of what a good, lasting solution will look like. Identify the important principles and values that should be guiding your decisions. Disregard distractions, biases, and petty annoyances. Focus on useful, pertinent, helpful objectives. Be logical and thorough. Seek answers that produce effective, long-term solutions. Here are 2 powerful concepts to help shape your positive thinking. Number 1, every situation has a best possible outcome. Let me repeat. Every situation has a best possible outcome. No matter how difficult a situation is, from inconvenient to disruptive to painful, it always has what I call a best possible outcome. Not every situation can end in a desirable outcome. Some things are bad, like a disabling injury, a car accident, or serious storm damage, and a positive outcome is very unlikely. But every situation, no matter how bad, has the potential to end in a number of different ways, some being much better than others. When you're faced with a potential setback, your objective should be to identify the better possible outcomes, then choose actions that move the situation towards one of those, rather than letting the situation take you to one of the poorer outcomes. Concept number 2, every overwhelming mess has a best possible approach. We all have bad days and bad weeks. Sometimes things really are a mess. You have a headache, your computer freezes up, the car battery dies, your toilet overflows. You get the idea. It can be overwhelming, frazzling, and impossible. It's hard to know what to do next or even where to begin. When the bad stuff stacks up, it's unrealistic to think you can solve each problem right away. Good solutions usually don't present themselves clearly and easily when you're overwhelmed. Instead, your goal should be to chart a course through the mess you're facing, a best possible approach. Start by creating a good plan of attack. Ask yourself these questions: what's most important? What's most urgent? What must get done today? And what can wait? Use the answers to these questions to flesh out a path forward. Once your path forward takes shape, use the best possible outcome approach we covered earlier in this video to optimize each step in your plan. A positive attitude and positive thinking will aim you in the best direction, but there's one more important step in a positive approach. Component number 3, positive behavior. Positive behavior is knowing what to do, then actually doing it. It's a simple concept, but not always easy to carry out. Almost always, the resolution of tough issues requires some actions that are difficult and uncomfortable. Positive behavior occurs when you take the steps necessary to apply your positive attitude and your positive thinking to the situation. No excuses, no shortcuts, no procrastination. You've identified specific objectives, now accomplish them. The basic question to focus your positive behavior is, what's the best thing to do next? Sometimes positive behavior is obvious and easy. Sometimes it's difficult, but you do it anyway because you know in the long run it will produce the best outcome. It requires commitment, persistence, determination, and the ability to adapt. In addition to accomplishing your objectives, positive behavior is sensitive and fair. It is mindful of its impact on others. It produces results that do not cause more problems. It collects feedback and new information, then adjusts. It persistently pursues objectives despite the roadblocks it encounters. Identify the actions necessary to accomplish the objectives determined in your positive thinking. Make yourself a checklist of actions, then start knocking them off. For more complex objectives, make a game plan with a timetable and tackle each step one after another until you reach your objective. Make a commitment, then act. Use your self-awareness and self-assessment skills to keep moving forward. Evaluate your progress and assess. Are your actions working? Are your objectives on target? Are you doing everything you need to do to accomplish these objectives? If your current actions aren't effective, modify your plan. Here are 2 valuable concepts that will help reinforce your positive behavior. Concept number 1, get something good out of every situation. We all face setbacks, failures, and even tragedies. These experiences almost invariably have a negative impact on us. Your goal should be to ensure that the impact isn't only negative. When you face a tough situation, make sure you always take something positive away from it. This can happen in one of 3 ways. Learn from the situation. Find something that will be useful to you in the future. Something that will help you manage the situation next time it occurs. Something that will help you with situations like this one. Or something useful you can pass on to others. Strengthen relationships. During tough times, we see a side of people and ourselves that we don't see when things are going well. This can be an excellent time to share, help, and bond with others. Make positive changes. Some people do amazing things when they encounter difficult problems. They assess the setback, then find a way for it to inspire new actions and new directions. They overcome the problem and generate new successes. Concept number 2, put something good into every day. You can boost your happiness by making sure you add something worthwhile to every day. There are 3 great ways to do this. First, do something useful. Anytime you want to enrich your experience, add something useful to your day. Do that project you've been putting off, tackle that new chore, help people when you see they need it. Do something generous. Doesn't have to be expensive or major. Generous acts make the world a better place, build relationships, and are good for you too. Every time you find a new way to be more giving or helpful, you've invested in your own happiness. Finally, do something creative. Creativity helps solve problems, helps you do good things for others, and makes life more interesting. It's fun, and you'll accomplish terrific things. Starting today, make it a habit to add something useful, something generous, or something creative to every single day. In an effort to pursue a positive approach to life, we've covered a lot of territory in this video. If you're genuinely interested in greater happiness and more success, I recommend you watch it again. As I'm sure you can see, a positive approach to life is not easy, but good results rarely come without significant effort. Your diligent effort will pay off with more happiness, more success, and more of what you want out of life. Thanks for listening. I'm Steve Kinnal.